Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon or good evening, I guess, depending on where you might be. Welcome to another edition of Drive Time with Matty Ice, and of course, my lovely co-host. There we go. Now I can say it. Showtime Sarah's here, and of course, the one and only Scooter, who's messing
Hi,
with the
guys.
camera, going all
Yeah.
kinds of different directions down there.
It's
Guys, how
always
you
a
doing
nice show
today?
with me.
How are y'all doing today?
Sarah?
Good, I'm good.
You're just gonna leave that good for us, huh? You're not gonna go into all the details you did pre-show, so I appreciate that.
All good on this end.
Excellent news. Glad to hear everyone is doing well. So let's get to it. We got a lot to cover here and only a little time to do it in. So we'll start with our look in the rearview mirror. Of course, before we get going, of course, there is one new "Oh Say Can You Sing" entry. This is from the Bristol Speedway and the baseball game that we had there. Catherine Dobbins sang the anthem at the NASCAR baseball game. I have to admit, I'm kind of a sucker when it's some type of U.S. veteran, whether it be an Air Force, Navy. I just love the way that they just sing it. They go out, they sing it. There's no thrills. It's just, here's the anthem, boom, done. She did a really good job with it. Her voice was amazing. So she got an 8 for the excitement part of it, or the first part of it, I kind of call it. The 9 for the pitching range, 10 for the speed. Then the overall excitement throughout the anthem, she got a 7. So she does get a 43 out of a possible 50, which means she is now in the log jam tied for whatever the heck that'd be. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8th place. There's now 12 people in 8th place to make up the top 10 at that 43 mark. So couldn't quite hit the 44, but we have a new entry at the 43. Did anyone else see the anthem? No. Well, she did pretty good. Of course, it's in the middle of the 700 rain delays that they had on Friday night, so that did not go over well for them. But hey, it is a new entry, so we like that for sure. So I'm going to try to get this linked up here, and while I do that, I'm going to let you, Scooter. I know you saw the NASCAR race. You said it was an exciting one, so I'm going to let you do that while I try to get this linked up here.
Yeah, it was out in Iowa. It was like the Iowa Fresh Corn 350, and there's like corn stuff everywhere, which is great. But it was William Byron was leading for like the first 30 laps. Then it got overtaken. So he sort of struggled back around 12, 13, 14. Really great racing all over the place, trying for first, second, third, and fourth throughout the entire race. Then it came to the fact that there was pit strategy for the last 60 laps, or 70 laps, I should say. So William Byron, he decided to pit really early to the point where they thought he was going to run out of gas on the final lap.
Oh boy!
In first, and so they kept telling him, keep off the throttle. But he did have like a 2-second lead that really started shrinking. But he finally won at the end, and that was the second win of the season. The first win was the Daytona 500. He's the guy who, if you ask me, he has the best driver out there. Denny Hamlin's having a great season with 4 wins, but William Byron he's the man. I think he's going to win the entire series this year.
He's my favorite player, so I like that. I like his
Yeah.
Look at this. You guys are in alignment on it. I love it.
Good
Well,
for you.
I used to like Harvick, but like obviously he retired, and I was like, oh, I should go Ross Chastain, but I was like, I don't know, I wasn't really like feeling it. Although the watermelon smashing is hilarious.
That is funny. That's cool. As anything. So if you don't know, like when Ross Chastain wins a race, and he has one of the greatest like 5th place shots. A few years ago, he went full throttle to get into the playoffs at Bristol Motor Speedway, where he was driving on the wall, and he drove all the way around all these people because they were all going like 50 and he's going 70. And so he beat Denny Hamlin at the last moment and got in because of that. And then they outlawed that move after the fact. But Ross Chastain, when he wins races, he has a big watermelon. He tosses it from the car. It's great. And then he jumps on the track and he eats the watermelon off the track. So
he doesn't go Gallagher and bring out a sledge-o-matic to break the watermelon.
No. That would be sweet though if he did. If he actually brought Gallagher out, which
maybe one time.
Hard.
I think he passed away though, didn't he? Finally.
Yeah, I think it would be difficult for him.
Yeah, that would really be a feat then if he does that. So
Dr. John Hammond, we saw that in Jurassic Park. So
right, that's true. Yeah. That's very true. All right. So the latest on Terry and Micah is there, of course, now that both players have requested a trade. I don't really buy it as much on the Terry end. Micah going full throttle with the post on Twitter and everything like that. Kind of seems like that one is getting a little bit ugly, a little bit quicker than what the situation is with Terry and Washington. So if I had a bet right now, I still think Terry's contract gets done with Washington. I just don't see that going any other way. I'm not so sure about Micah. I think I don't know. I kind of, it kind of seems like he may be done, and whether that can be salvaged or not is a different story, I guess. What do you guys think?
I don't think so. I mean, from what I've heard, it is a messy situation. I have one of these regulars. He's a Cowboys fan. I asked him, so you want Jerry Jones fired? He said yes. So the fans aren't happy, and I mean, that's one of their star players. I mean, waiting so long to even sign him in the first place is crazy. So I don't think it's going to stick, though.
We will see. Any thoughts on Scooter?
Yeah, I mean, Micah, he's arguably the best player in the Cowboys. There is the chance of that. But, yeah, he's really, he's put his foot down on this one. And, it's like, wow, that's a war of words now. Now, you go to Washington. I mean, there was just video the other day of Terry McLaurin going up to Jaden Daniels' mom, shaking her hand, who she was walking with Josh Harris, the owner of the Redskins, and he gave him a bro hug. And, and he ran back. So he's there. Everything besides the it sounds like it's like 27 million versus 33 million. It's not far off. I mean, there's got to be a give and take on this one.
Yeah, I agree. I know the guys have talked about this one a lot too, and I'm kind of I think somewhere in that 30, look, that's what I negotiate claims all day long. When you get where you're close and you get to that half, what you get, okay, one's at this, one's at this. It seems like the easy number is the one that's in between them all, right? So I think I agree. I think Terry's that one definitely seems like I think will get done. It's going to be interesting to see how the person's one plays out for sure.
I mean, Terry's just a professional. He handles things the correct way. Like he could, it's not he's not out. He's in. It's a sit-in, whatever they call it. But I mean, he's there, so you can't say he's not acting like a professional athlete. And he deserves to get his money. I understand what he's talking about, and we'll see where it goes from there.
Agree. I think we're all in agreement on those ones. So the Pro Football did induct their latest four: Sterling Sharp, the two Allens, Eric and Jared, and of course my personal favorite from the Kent State University, Antonio Gates went in. It was great to see Antonio Gates back in Northeast Ohio. The coach for Cindy wasn't the head coach when he was there, but he was one of the assistants there. So he was there. He had a lot of the basketball players there. Because, of course, remember, Antonio Gates did not play football for Kent State University. He played basketball, led them to the Elite Eight, which at that time was one of the first mid-majors to get into the Elite Eight. So he's near and dear to my heart. But, it's always a fun weekend when the guys are in Canton. And it's always good to see all the old, because they bring back as many of them that are alive that can make it. And it's always a fun weekend down in Canton.
You didn't go? Tickets were too much?
No, the induction was actually Friday night, so that was the one service was Friday night, and then Saturday, just with having guards tickets Friday and Sunday night, the inductions usually aren't that bad. Those only charge $35 for, but just too much going on this weekend to try to get down to Canton for it too. So we'll save that for another one, I'm sure.
I think all those guys they if there's any group that deserves to get in, there was a little weight on some of them. Definitely Sterling. God, Sterling Sharp, he was amazing. Like he was the best receiver for like 5-6 years in the NFL. And Brett Favre obviously, and then he had the neck injury. But he was great. And he really did deserve to be in the Hall of Fame a long time ago. I don't know, kind of like Joe Jacoby, but whatever. I'm glad that I'm glad those guys got in. They're really good, but especially for Sterling. And what was great watching, I came home. I was working later that night on Thursday, so I came home and I got to watch the last half of the game, and it was cool because they had Brent Musburger up there, and he was telling the stories. It's what you got to do in the fourth quarter of the first preseason game. So They brought Brett in there. And it was amazing listening. He was talking about the Joe Namath at the pool, the guaranteeing at the before Super Bowl III at the Orange Bowl. So it was really cool. It was good to. And then they were forcing him to go. Come on, come on, come on, Brent. You got to say it. You are looking live. So it
Live.
was great. He did that.
Yeah, that if Brett doesn't start with "You're looking live," then it's just no good. That's his signature for sure. Love it. All right. The baseball trade deadline, of course, happened last week too. We're not going to be able to. It could take us a whole show to go through all the trades that ended up happening on the last day of the deadline because there were a lot of them. So we'll start with this: the deadline winners. My deadline winners, I got three of them: Seattle for adding Josh Naylor and Suarez, and then also adding reliever Caleb Ferguson. I think that was a great move for Seattle. San Diego adds another closer in Mason Miller and J.P. Sears in the rotation. They also added, of course, Ramon Laureano and Ryan O'Hearn from Baltimore. And I think the sneaky good one is Toronto with adding Shane Bieber. He had another rehab assignment down in Buffalo. I think he's got one more that they want to give him down in the minor leagues before he's ready to come up to Toronto. He's looking pretty good. The elbow's holding up fine. And if Toronto adds a Cy Young Award winner that can give them 5 to 6 innings a game for every fourth or fifth day, I really like that. For them. Those were my winners. Who do you have as a winner, Scott? Anyone different?
Well, I mean, I can't disagree with you on any of that. I mean, Toronto, man, they actually got prospects too.
Right.
It's like let's just help out our bullpen. Let's get a few players and then some prospects too. It's like wow. I mean, that was really good moving there. I think Seattle really looks good. San Diego does. Now you may not like it, but I like the Dodgers because they had all these injuries.
Yeah.
And then they took care of every position that they needed taken care of.
Yeah, the Dodgers got to are one of those teams they don't have to make a move to make a move because their
Right.
moves are going to be guys coming off the injured list when they have basically a whole starting rotation coming back off this injured list, which is going to be good for them. So
And the wild card of mine too would be the Nets because I mean, of course, this is my team, but I thought they did a really good job moving the players they didn't need any longer, and they got really good rewards for them, and they got several players in top 10 players in organizations. So that was nice to see they did that as well.
Sarah, do you got any adds to the winner list?
No, what you said sounds good. I mean,
Well, thank you.
Toronto too. I feel like is obviously interesting with what we'll talk about later with the Bieber trade, but.
Yeah, I think Toronto now will be my second favorite team because it's basically the Toronto Cleveland between Bieber being there. They've also got Jimenez there. Nick Sandlin's there. They also got Ernie Clement and then Miles Straw. So they got 5 former Cleveland Guardian players there, so they'll be good. I'm also going to add as a winner the Miami Marlins, and we'll talk about them here in a little bit later too. But just because they didn't sell off. So I kind of feel like that was a big sign to the team of, hey, we believe in this core. We're not getting rid of anybody, and they got a dividend that we'll talk about later. Let's go into the losers. For me, it's not that, and we'll see if they become ultimately losers. I think the O's and Twins got pretty good prospects for what they trade away, but the O's traded away quite a bit. The Twins traded away like basically their entire starting lineup. It seemed like I think it was something like 40% of their starting lineup is gone. I got to see their first 2 games, and it was even the game Sunday. I mean, they did end up winning the game on Sunday, but it's. That lineup is bleak to say the least to finish off the season. So, we won't know for sure if they're ultimately losers or not, but definitely they, clearly the Twins were saying they are not going to compete for the wild card this year with the moves that they made. Any other losers from the trade deadline?
I would say you're right on Minnesota. It's like get your minor league team up there, get them ready.
Yeah,
getting ready to go. So I don't know. Hopefully it'll work out for them. Probably not. And then of course, like you said, the O's. It's tough to trade away all those players. A lot of beloved players that got there. So that really hurts with the fans. And if you're the fans, you're like, I'm not going to go the rest of the year.
Yeah, unless you're going to see the other team. So.
Right. And who cares anyways?
Right. Sarah, any losers for you?
No.
No. Okay. Next up for the baseball. So there was the game that was played at the Bristol Motor Speedway. It was supposed to be Saturday night. Mother Nature did not cooperate at all. we watched it getting ready, and they probably should just never even started to try to play the game. I don't know if anyone saw it, but they do the top of the first inning. It immediately starts pouring again, and because this isn't the typical baseball infield, it doesn't have the structure to to suck up the water like a lot of these infields do, and they're basically playing in mud. Trying to get the whole first inning before they finally realize, hey, we can't do this anymore. And then they're in a 2.5 hour rain delay. And then they finally called. They did play the game, on Sunday, and Atlanta ends up winning it. But I think it lost a little bit of the pizzazz when you have that happen when the weather doesn't cooperate. Also, wasn't a lot of good feedback from the fans that were there. A lot of pictures of these seats that were just horrible. They ran out of buns for the hot dogs. They ran out of cheese for the nachos. And I know that the NHL was there kind of taking notes for possibilities of future like winter classics or stadium series type games to do something new. Hopefully they'll take this feedback and learn from it, because while I love the idea of it, I think clearly there were some misses, it seemed like, in the execution of it. Scott,
Yeah, well,
anything?
I would say that when it comes to NASCAR and baseball, the same thing happens with both of them when it rains. They have to stop.
Yep.
Especially NASCAR. Now, several years ago at Talladega, Talladega is so big, it's 2.5 miles, so that's 1.25 each way, basically. So it'll be sunny at one end of the track and it's completely pouring on another, and that happens. At one point, they thought this rain shower was gonna kind of go north and not hit it, but it hurt. It this one area hit turn one, and all the cars just started spinning out and hitting the wall at 180 miles an
Ugh.
hour. So that was fun. But welcome to NASCAR, Major League Baseball. When anytime it rains, you got to stop. Yeah, there was a Daytona 500 that was supposed to start at like 1:30, 2 o'clock, and it did. But then it rained so much throughout the day that they have lights at that track. So the race ended at about 11:30 at night. You know how much beer some of those people must have gone through?
I can imagine. Yeah.
I mean, you
I
could
will say
bring the
this.
beer into NASCAR.
The Reds jerseys were sharp for this game. They had
Yeah.
like the racing fonts on the back and on the front with the checkered flag going on the brim of
Yeah,
the
that's good.
cap. I give them a heads up for the jerseys look sharp. I'll give them that. Sarah, did you see any of this on Saturday or Sunday?
I didn't see the jerseys. No, I saw like a bunch of videos on like TikTok and everything about the seats and how far away they were. There's also this one video I saw of some guy trying to throw a foul ball over the fence, but realized how steep Bristol actually is.
Yeah.
That one was, yeah.
Yeah.
It's definitely got its quirks to it. I really think they could obviously try it again, maybe do a different NASCAR stadium, but I mean, obviously, if you think about it a little bit more, maybe it'll be executed better.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think the one thing with Bristol is because it's only the half-mile oval, so I think it
Mhm.
plays a little bit better than like as we were talking about this too. Like you try to do that at Indy or one of these big ones, like it's just the infield is so big. It's like how do you make it where you can even see anything in that infield? They're just so big. So it'll be
Yeah.
interesting to see what they do, if anything, on it. A player near and dear to my heart hit another big milestone. I think it's yet another one that should just about cement any talk of him, for Hall of Fame. He joins the 275 home runs, 275 stolen base club. That now means he is only the 17th player to do it. He is the first third baseman to do it, and he's only the second switch hitter with joining Carlos Beltran. And he's also one of 5 players to do it in their first 13 seasons, joining Beltran, Andre Dawson, and both Barry and Bobby Bonds to the 275 club.
Great numbers. Great
Yeah.
numbers.
He hit 2 more home runs this weekend. Actually, no, I think he hit one Saturday, one Sunday. He's just the city of Cleveland. It's if you've never seen a game in Cleveland when he's batting, it's just so much fun. He's what can I say? He's my favorite, and I admit my bias on him, but he's just been I've been very spoiled to watch him play baseball with how hard he plays and the way he plays. Sarah, any Jose thoughts from being here a couple times, seeing a few games?
I mean, at least the games we were on to, it almost felt like he was our last chance. Obviously, it didn't go as well because the games that I went to, they both lost. But I mean, it just the energy switches. Like once he's at bat or at bat, it's just everyone's like cheering him on. The Jose chants, everything. Oh, it's great.
I agree. Colorado won 2 games this weekend, so they're up to 30 wins. So they are at 30 and 81. Remember, the worst season was Chicago at 41 and 121. Now Colorado is at a 270 win clip, which means I'm sad to say, with 51 games left, if they continue at the pace that they're winning right now, they'll win 14 more games, which means that they will finish with 44 wins and not be the worst team ever. So just wanted to give a Colorado update in case you're wondering how close, how bad do they suck. They're sucking pretty bad, but they may not be the absolute most suckiest.
Did they make any trade moves? I don't think they did anything really.
Well, they got rid of some guys. They traded players away, but they did not. They definitely did not add anybody. So.
Right.
So we'll see how that goes. Then, of course, the fun news from the weekend, the Yankees make all these moves. Miami makes no moves, and Miami turns around and sweeps the Yankees. Of course, one of them on Friday night when all the bullpen arms that the Yankees added all imploded, which is always fun to watch. And don't look now, ladies and gentlemen, but the Miami Marlins are back to 500 and playing some decent baseball, and they're only 6 out in the wild card, which we'll take a look at those standings next. But did you guys enjoy the Miami sweep with the Yankees as much as I did?
You already know my answer.
I do know your answer. And why is that? Who do you hate?
I hate the Yankees.
There it is. All right, hold on. There we go. 1 second here.
Well, I grew up a huge Yankee fan. Willie Randolph, Ron Guidry. Guidry should be in the Hall of Fame. But I'm a Nats fan these days. Past 20 years, whatnot. Yankees. They can afford to lose me. But it was good. But it's showing that Miami's growing up. They're fighting for. They're trying to get in. So good for them. That's awesome. It's good to sweep any team. The Yankees. Okay, cool. It's not like this big rivalry, but it's not like the first time the Marlins have beaten the Yankees before. Like they beat them in the World Series. So there was that. But that was a long time ago as well. Now.
Yep. Yeah, this is the first ever sweep of the Yankees, and like I said, it gets them at 55 and 55. So, quick look at the NL standings. It's kind of weird. Like the NL, the division races, I think, are a little bit closer than what the wild card races are. Where in the AL, the division races are kind of meh, but the wild card races where it's going to be fun. So, like here, Philly and the Mets are probably going to go down to the last day. They both made great moves at the trade deadline to get better. Like I said, Miami's hanging in there at 55 and 55. Milwaukee and Chicago and the Central is going to go down to the wire. LA and San Diego will go down to the wire in the West. So all of those look like they're going to be fun. But like I said, the fun race for me is the wild card, or not going to be the wild card. I mean, unless Cincinnati, San Francisco, and Miami really goes on a big roll. Cincinnati's 4 back at that final wild card spot, and with the moves that the teams above them made, I don't know if anyone's going to catch them, but that's kind of where things look in the NL. It's going to be more of a who wins the division, who gets the wild card, but we'll see how it all plays out. Scott, any thoughts on the NL side of it?
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be a fun stretch to the end of the season, because I mean, you're going to get teams like Philly. They're going to start. There's going to be some time when they're going to win 3 of 10 games. And there's going to be these parts that are just going to open up. So we're not at I don't think anyone's going to get separation yet. So we're getting close to making it kind of fun.
Agree. Sarah, any thoughts on the NL side?
No, it's all about the Mets, baby. Is that what they say?
It's all about the Mets.
It's all about the Mets. That's what I'm going with.
All right, on the AL side, again, this is where the divisions are kind of, the closest one is probably Toronto with Boston. That one is a 3-game lead. Detroit's still got a very handsome lead on Cleveland. Houston and Seattle has closed up. That's a 2.5-game lead there. But the AL Central, unless the Tigers just completely fold, they've pretty much got that wrapped up. But where I think it gets good again, here's the wild card side of it. You've got now Boston is the top wild card team. The Yankees are hanging on a half game ahead of Seattle. And then this is where, like I said, you've got really 4 teams that are just right in there: Texas, Cleveland, KC. Technically you could count the Rays and the Angels, but I think they're kind of probably more going to end up on the outside looking in. But you still got 3 teams fighting for the other 3 spots in the AL side of it. Cleveland's taking advantage of an easier August schedule or July schedule to get back into it a little bit, but they still got work to do. Seattle and Texas will be fun, but can the Yankees fall all the way out of this without if one Aaron Judge, stays, is it the Yankees end up on the outside of this whole thing? Scott, what do you think?
Man, I'm okay
Yeah,
with that.
I mean, it can. I mean, I think Seattle made those moves. They look pretty good right now. I mean, the Red Sox will definitely fall out of it.
Yeah.
And where Cleveland sits right now, if they keep doing what they're doing, they get in. So this is another one down to. I mean, the wild card. The way that they've Major League Baseball's done the wild cards, kudos on them because it's really exciting.
Yep, that's why they added the third wild card. I think you've got teams that are just, that here we are with about 50 games left to go in the season, and you got plenty of teams that still think that they're in it. So it'll be interesting to see how this all plays out through the end of it. Sarah, any thoughts on the AL?
As long as the Yankees die out, I will be fine.
There we go. That's what we always like to hear. All right, so our Drive to Nuts segment, this is going to be something a little bit different. It's actually going to feature a whole brand new segment, which is going to be Showtime Sarah Takes the Wheel. So I'm gonna lead this off with I got a text. Was it Sunday you text me, Sarah, or was it Saturday? I can't remember. I think it was Sunday, wasn't it?
I think it was
it
Sunday.
yesterday morning? Yeah,
Is
Sunday
your
morning.
Sunday
She's like, hey, did you see this came out about this certain thing? And I was like, no, I hadn't really seen it. And I saw it, and I was like, and she's like, well, I think we should do this show. I was like, well, okay, well, instead of me doing it on the show, why don't you do it on the show? So she found the news. She's looked into some other things of it. So with that, I'm gonna turn it over to you, Sarah. You take the wheel, and what did you find on Sunday that was interesting?
All right, I am the safest driver that my dad says, so bear with me here. News has recently come out that the Dallas Stars have kind of become a monopoly in the youth hockey industry. I had a whole thing of notes on it. There have been several websites, several news outlets coming out just with basically families complaining about how the Stars front office reacts in certain situations with the youth hockey programs. The most reported one right now is there was this lady that was recently appointed president of this youth hockey program for like middle school and high schools. She wanted to cancel the contracts of 2 coaches, but the Dallas front office did not want that because they wanted the coaches to stay, and they threatened her by saying, just remember who you get your ice from. A lot of families have complained about, the rising registration fees and equipment prices, and now certain things like with the coaches, there's not really much say that the parents can do if they raise the prices on something. The parents don't have any say in it. It's become a complete dictation of whatever the Stars want, they're going to get it in some sort of way. Looking into it furthermore, there's also been since they are trying to increase their youth hockey program, they have decided that certain things, they basically have bought out certain hockey rinks or pay people to give them these hockey rinks, while independent hockey rinks are going out of business. So a bunch of people have been sold out, and now Dallas is basically thriving with all these ice rinks that they own. Therefore, that goes in better to their youth hockey program where they want certain things and they tell you certain things, and whatever that follows out or not. You can't talk bad about the program at all. You will get penalized for it. They will. It's such a messy situation. I'm kind of glad that it's gotten to light because it kind of shows, okay, well, is this going on in different youth hockey programs? Is the Dallas Stars becoming a monopoly in youth hockey obviously a bad thing? Yes. But what is going on with different situations? Obviously, I was talking to my dad about it, and he said he heard something going on maybe in our place at Raleigh with we have something called Polar and everything. I did want to ask you, Dad. You work with USA Hockey and NHL. Well, not NHL, but you work with USA Hockey. You as a referee, do you think that some youth hockey programs that you've worked with before have kind of given that red flag monopoly before? Have you seen anything firsthand?
Well, you see it a lot where there is, look, I mean, and unfortunately, and I'm sure we have people that watch that are big in other youth sports. Politics and youth sports go hand in hand, unfortunately. It's not always about the kids just being out there and having fun. So here, the closest team is Columbus that has that NHL, experience. And that they do have their own team, and that's not uncommon for these NHL cities to have a youth team program, because it does help, right? Like they follow the NHL team, that gets them into the sport. They then want to play for their local team that plays under that. That part all makes sense. Where you get into the issues like with what's going on in Dallas is when if they are monopolizing all the rinks and then charging, like, how do the rinks make their money? They make their money on ice time, by what they charge for the ice. You know, the more people they can get in using the ice, then the more money they make. If the rinks are all owned by one thing, like you talked about Polar Ice House in Raleigh, which owns just about every single rink now in Raleigh. Well, you dictate the price at every single rink. You now no longer have any competition where a program may be cheaper for a family. So basically, if you want your kid to play hockey, in some of these areas, you are going to have to pay, or you're going to have to move. So yes, I mean, you do see it, you know, on the ice. Once you get on the ice, as a referee, we don't really care. It's team A against team B. I'm going to ref that game the best I can, and I'm going to drop the puck, right? But yeah, you see it, and you definitely hear it when you talk with people, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, like you said about the ice time. So Dallas said that they would, you know, do ice time free of charge. That did not happen for long, and the rules eventually went out the book. And families started getting billed for the ice time that they weren't supposed to pay in the first place. It's just obviously, like, in Dallas has owned up to like part of it, like, but they also just claim, oh no, this isn't going on. They actually claim that they're a model for USA hockey and NHL programs. Like, this is what you should look for, you know, this is what you need to do, which is completely wrong. From what I saw with Carolina, the thing is, I think a lot of issues is a lot of this hasn't made actual national headlines like Dallas has. It might still be local stuff like that you might hear about, like if you're in the right group. But it hasn't made anything national. I mean, there's been certain things that go on where, like, I know Carolina's been, I mean, hockey's been growing, honestly, ever since the Hurricanes have started becoming more into the playoffs and everything. Like, once the team grows, I think a lot of people get interested into the sport, and then they want to play the sport, and it kind of cycles through, which is a good thing. But does geography kind of matter in this thing? I mean, you have Dallas, who is like, oh yeah, we're great, and like, but there's messy, like it's messy over there. But I mean, Arizona, they just got rid of the Coyotes, but I actually saw a couple of sources saying that their youth hockey programs are doing great. They're still flowing. Like, it's honestly even improving. I saw something saying Minnesota was improving. They got a bunch of good programs. And then also I think there was one about, the name's blanking on me right now. It'll come back to me. But like, there's a bunch of things that like say, oh yeah, we're doing great. There hasn't really been much saying, oh, this is the bad. Youth hockey is declining in Canada just because of rising prices. I think that's also just a different separate thing that maybe obviously might be completely different than what's going on in the US. But I think it just makes you aware to try to look for red flags in certain sports. I mean, shoot, Dad, you might be putting Teddy, you know, into some hockey programs. You gotta look for that, you know, look for the red flags. If it seems like you can't have a say in anything, or it feels like there's all these prices going on, you can't do anything. Like, if you start feeling trapped in this program, like, what can you do? Do you go and leave, or like, what's gonna happen, you know?
Yeah, and you see it. There's two parts of it, right? Like, the good side of these teams getting involved is it does bring a name to it. Like, everyone knows if you have your NHL team behind, or even you see it with the minor league teams. Like, a lot of minor league, like the Toledo Walleye, they have a youth program that is the Walleye program. So it's good in some ways, but you don't want that to be the only show in town. Now, the other core side of it is, you know, you get little Johnny's parent who thinks that little Johnny should be on the AAA U12 team, and doesn't like the fact that little Johnny can't even frickin' skate forward, let alone backwards. And then they go and they form their own AAA program so that little Johnny can say that he plays AAA hockey, right? So that's the other side of this, is that you've got it's in one way you like it if there's only, like, I think each city, a good city model is if you've got 2 or 3 programs somewhere where and also you need to have a good, like, there has to be a separation between house hockey, which is just, hey, we're just out here to have fun. We want our kids to learn to play the game. We realize our kid is not going to make it to the NHL. So those type of programs need to have lower costs than the travel programs. I mean, like, look, 8-year-olds traveling around to play hockey to me is just stupid. I would never have my 8-year-old kid playing travel hockey. Sorry, like it doesn't matter. There's no level of skills that you're going to learn at 8 that are going to matter for it for sure. So yeah, it is there. And Anthony, I think, brings up some good points here. He says travel sports has screwed up everything. He's not wrong on that. I think that has a lot to do with it. And this one really hits the hammer on the nail. Money matters also because the only way you play hockey now is if you know people or if your parents play pro hockey. Yes and no on that. I think the money side of hockey is definitely an issue for the sport in and of itself. Like it is not a cheap sport to play. It's not cheap, especially in the youth, because kids grow. So you can't keep them in you can't keep them in the same pair of skates. And unfortunately, skates have become so crazy expensive. And some of it too is because, well, I gotta have the best. No, like your kid is 10. He doesn't need the highest grade stick. Just be happy if he has a stick and if he can shoot straight. But yeah, I mean, I do think money is unfortunately is a big obstacle for hockey to get around for sure. And then the travel side of it is. And then Anthony wants me to ask you about the NASCAR section, the question that you didn't get to cover last time, Sarah. So we'll cover that after we get done with this hockey discussion. Okay.
Okay.
I
see
right.
it. Yeah.
Yep. So Scooter, any thoughts you want to add onto this fun little subject of youth hockey and the NHL helping or hurting some of these teams? Like I know with Washington, I know they have the one rink. I know that they don't have like Ashburn and Reston. They're still on their own. Have they taken over any other rinks other than that one where they practice at?
I don't know if I mean, at one point they did have the Ashburn one, or at least that they practiced there when the building was getting built down at Glebe Road.
Right.
But as far as that, I don't know. I know they do a lot of events up there, but I haven't been there in a year. So I mean, but I mean, they were always great in the public when it came to those kind of things. I remember in Hartford, there we go. We had the junior whalers. They had the girls team and the boys team, and they had several different ages for them. But they played at Avon Old Farms at the private school, which is so my ex sister-in-law, she was on the girls she was the captain of the girls team junior whalers. And her brother would become he wasn't a junior whaler because he was actually a freshman at that time at Avon Old Farms. And he actually wound up, his captain was Brian Leach of the Rangers. He went to Avon Old Farms. So Avon Old Farms was a big deal there for the Whalers because they put all this money into that was their practice rig. So then that increased getting the kids involved and everything like that. So that was always we always just knew that the Hartford Whalers were good in the community with kids.
Yeah.
There was never any issue anything close to what Sarah's talking about.
Yeah, the Stars make money. And here's Anthony, spot on here. Mom and dads today want to live vicariously through their kids if they don't make it, if they didn't make it a pro. And you are, I see that so much in these damn ice rinks where dad is trying to live through the kid. And the best part about this for me as the ref is you can kind of tell, like when one kid sees that his parent is acting like an ass. And as soon as I see the eye roll of the kid, like, oh my God, he's going at it again, I know I can have some fun with that kid, like in the face-off circle saying, so that's going to be a fun car ride, isn't it, later? And they'll be like, oh my God, you have no idea. Like, I'm so sick of him acting like this. Like sometimes but I wait to see the eye roll. Because if you don't see the eye roll, you don't know for sure if which way if the kid's like actually with his dad on this, or if he's just so sick of his parent acting like, and I shouldn't say dad because some moms do it too. But those are when I have my most fun out there, is when I see a parent just acting like a complete moron and the kid gives the eye roll with it. Now I know I've got that kid where I can have some fun with him the rest of the game. Good stuff though, Anthony. I definitely like that comment. Sarah, any final thoughts on this one? This is a good subject. I think it's something that maybe too we revisit as we keep going along, getting closer to another hockey season, of seeing what some of these other places do this year with the news breaking out from Dallas.
For sure. I mean, like from what I have read out, I mean, I don't think personally for like Carolina, I don't think it's bad right now. I mean, maybe there might be obviously certain things where you're just trying to lessen the competition, but in that way, I think it's just obviously trying to make sure I mean, an NHL team is gonna fund youth hockey. Like, in a way, it sounds terrible. Like, I love independent leagues. Like, I think obviously keeping those around is still like a good thing. But I mean, getting funding by an NHL team, like, it obviously does help a lot. So if that would, like, if it does go down that way, it's not necessarily a bad thing. It just depends what you do with it. If you're gonna become okay, well, we're gonna do this. Where like the NHL slogan, they always say hockey is for everyone. If you start to not listen to that and you just start to make it a for profit for the organization for them, but not for anybody else, then it doesn't become hockey is for everyone. The kid will eventually get drained of the sport. The families get drained of the sport, and it just steady declines. And maybe that's heading for Dallas. I mean, I'm sure with all this news coming out, I don't think they're going to do such great. I mean, the Stars office can avoid it for so long, but I mean, they're going to have some sort of statement about it or make some sort of changes soon, because if you keep getting backlash, you know how teams don't like backlash. They usually got to make a statement about it. Because you don't want to get canceled in the Big 25. I know all the Gen Z terms, okay? But
what you talking about, Willis?
No, I mean, with Carolina, I mean, our owner, I showed you that screenshot from Facebook. I mean, he's going to make this whole thing near, I think it was near Crabtree, where he's going to add a bunch of these outside activities, this nice area. Like, and I don't think he's doing anything for a profit for himself. He's just trying to make Raleigh a hockey town. I mean, we are a hockey town. I will not decline that, but more. We're going to get more. We got to upgrade. Carolina's getting better. Raleigh's going to get better. We're making Raleigh a hockey town, because people always say we're not, but we're proving them wrong. And I think that's beneficial. And maybe Dallas was trying to do that, it just wasn't really going their way. I think the way that they're looking at it, because if you look at U18, U16 rankings, you see Dallas on the top a lot. But it doesn't matter if it means it's all about winning. It matters about the fun. And I think a lot of youth hockey programs still do that. But Dallas is not a good example. Dallas cares about the winning and the money. And it's no bueno.
See, there's two ways around that, too. The two examples you used, the Carolina versus the Dallas one. So, I mean, you could either do it, I guess the way Carolina is doing it, as in, like, you're spending this money for the kids and community. In Dallas is spending money, but they want more money back. Mm-hmm. So Carolina's doing it the right way. The ultimate goal in this whole thing for all these teams is to make paying customers out of these kids when they can afford it. And then, they could buy all the merchandise. So if you're Carolina, you're a kid and you're like, oh, wow, they were so good to me. And then you get, then you can buy stuff. They're like, oh, wow, I love Carolina. But in Dallas, you're like, oh, they treated my family like crap. I'm gonna be a fan of the new Houston Aero team or whatever, Yeah.
And there's also one thing I kind of forgot to mention. I think this might be interesting for both of you and Dad. So Dallas has even started changing certain practice times, like how many games you have. So, and I looked at an entire link of this. They've lessened the preseason games. They've gone from 18 games to 16 games. And they've also decreased the amount of practice that you have. And it's actually below what a USA hockey model says for a player to improve.
And they probably increased the price.
Yep. So you're getting less of this for a player to actually approve to go to pro hockey, because, a lot of kids do it for fun. But, I mean, some people do want to be, a professional athlete. But now you're getting all of this less, where you can't even improve functionally, but you have to pay more for it. Like, how does that – it doesn't make any sense. Like, if you're trying to make hockey like, a more – favorite sport, but you're not making any improvement in the actual sport itself, why does it even matter?
You said it best, Sarah, when you said that the hockey is for everyone, and how does this make hockey for everyone? I can't beat that. I think that's the line to end this segment on, because that's 100% correct. If your mod's going to be hockey's for everyone, and some of these things don't suggest that hockey is for everyone. It's only for those if you have lots and lots of money.
Exactly.
All right, good job, kiddo. I like that. All right, so before we get into this fantasy football drive-through, I do want to. Anthony did ask that question last week, and Anthony, if I don't get it right, just let me know. But I think it was something along the lines of, do you think like a team or corporate, was the team corporate thing would work with NASCAR like it has with like Formula One and those type of things? And I know Scott, you talked about this, and then you also had some plumbing issues that came up when we brought up this question too. So I
That
will
was
go
my
ahead real
heart
quick.
out.
Yeah, real quick before we get into fantasy football, just like a quick 60 seconds each, if you want to readdress that one as far as your thoughts on would a NASCAR like overall team championship type of thing work?
Well, they do have that. That's what I was trying to get into, and all of a sudden Niagara Falls happened. But they do have that. They have the manufacturers championship. You know, Chevy, Ford, Toyota. But then you have like the team championships, like JGR, Joe Gibbs Racing, Legacy Racing, Hendricks Racing, Childress Racing. And so they do take that serious, and they do limit like it's only four race teams per four teams, or excuse me, four racers or cars per team.
Yeah.
But then, when you're on a team, you got to work together. So we saw this weekend in Iowa, there was an awesome audio clip of Kyle Larson of Hendricks Racing. I mean, he probably said the F bomb like 7 times. And one of the announcers said, I mean, if you're hearing the F bomb that much and it's about his own teammate, there's a problem going on here. So it was because he was being told, stick with him. He's like, I have a better car. I'm getting jammed up with all these other cars, and he can't go faster. So he was just getting upset. He's like, I'm done. I'm gonna leave him, and I'm gonna go. And so the crew chief was just like, yep, do that. Just go. And probably about 10 years ago, I remember it was Talladega. Jimmy Johnson had the lead. Half a lap left to go. And his teammate Brian Vickers wrecked him.
Oh, Jesus.
And he won. Brian Vickers won. And that was the last season Brian Vickers was on the Hendricks team.
I can imagine. Yeah. Sarah, any thoughts on anything they could do to make it better, or with the team racing stuff, or anything like that, or do you like it as it is, or?
I mean, I think technically as it is, it's fine. It runs smooth. Yes, they may not all like each other. I mean, you see a couple NASCAR tiffs here and there where they're like, "Why'd you wreck me? Why'd you wreck me?" Those are fun. Those are fun to watch because like it's obviously like it's a redneck sport. I don't know how to explain it. Like it's great because you're just like it's all these angry people usually, and they're just driving.
It's an adult soap opera.
Yeah, it's like an adult soap opera.
It's an adult soap opera.
Like, because you just see them all react terribly. Like, I love watching old NASCAR flips where you just see them like basically flipping out. Like they just go crazy because like this means everything to them. This is their job. But I mean, I think how it runs is fine. I didn't really pay much attention to F1. I have a couple friends that do. I mean, I don't think necessarily I don't think it would change much in a way. But I think the way NASCAR runs fine is it's fine. Like it's moving fine. I think honestly it kind of like gives a little bit more entertainment too with the way they have the teams and everything.
I like it. All right, it's time for one more new segment. This is going to be our fantasy football drive-through. We're going to do this a lot throughout the course of the year too, where we're preseason. So we'll get into some stuff right now to maybe help you get ready for your drafts as they start to come up. So today we're going to tackle the wide receivers and the tight ends. So we're going to start here with the wide receivers. We're going to give a top 5. Now, Sarah, I think you're just going to let us give our top 5, and you'll throw some comments out there. So we'll give our top 5, then we'll give a couple sleepers and some players not to draft. So we're going to go 5 from 1, Scooter. So Scooter, who's your number 5? And this we're doing this based off of a typical fantasy football season where it's a point per reception. Just that way everyone knows how are we basing this off of. We're kind of using like our league that we're in as a model, 1 point per PPR, and then usually the 0.1 per yard, and then you get the 6 points for a touchdown. So that's what we're basing off of, the typical usual fantasy football thing. So Scooter, who's your number 5?
Number 5, Amon-Ra St. Brown of the Lions. Yeah, he has a new offensive coordinator there, but it's still the same thing going on there. So Jared Goff's just going to toss the ball all over the joint, and and they got 2 really good running backs back there. But Amon-Ra St. Brown's going to have a really good year this year.
You and I are in agreement. He is my number 5 with 115 receptions. He's a solid. He is the Detroit's. It's 3rd and 4. You know who the ball's going to. It just, it's going to St. Brown. He's just, and he always makes those clutch catches. He does have some breakaway speed too, so he can get some of those big boy touchdowns too.
Yeah.
So yeah, you and I are in agreement on number 5. Sarah, any thoughts on St. Brown?
I don't even know who that is.
Okay. Detroit Lions. So, all right.
Yeah,
number 4.
I like the Lions. I like the Lions. Okay.
All right. There you go.
He,
4.
he's of American and German ancestry.
Oh.
That's right. There you go.
His father was like a weightlifter.
Oh. Wow.
And his mother's German. And all their kids, they have like 3 kids, and they're all named after they all have Egyptian names.
Yes.
Oh wow.
All right, Scooter, who's your number 4?
It will be the Los Angeles Rams' Puka Nacua. He could be the wide receiver 1 at the end of the year.
Okay. I've got him a little bit higher up in my standings. My number 4 is my own rookie from last year who had a great year with no quarterback throwing to him, and that is Malik Neighbors of the New York Giants. I think he's actually going to have a quarterback to throw him the football now. He still had 109 receptions last year with just terribleness at the QB position. So I think with the actual capable quarterback, I think the sky is the limits for that kid. So he is my number 4.
Okay.
Now, Sarah, you did some dance. Was that what reason was that for the dance?
I honestly, low-key thought you were about to say Brock Bowers.
That's a tight end. So you
he'll be named.
Just wait.
But like
just
I knew
wait
like he was a rookie, but like I like Brock Bowers. Like he played really good last year. I think he's already broken a couple of records. So I guess I guess you put that in my top 5 guys if I had a fantasy.
There you go. That'll be for the tight ends. So that's coming up in the next part. So you hold that name for a little bit. All right. So who's your number 3, Scooter?
It is the Dallas Cowboys' CeeDee Lamb with a healthy Dak back there, and then they got a new wide receiver also to help out with some of that secondary going on out there. So
with Pickens.
With George Pickens. Yeah, thank you.
Doesn't Lamb have a history of injuries though?
No,
but his quarterback has an injury.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking about. My
Dak
God.
is the injury. So
I mean, CeeDee's a really great player.
So my 3 is Puka. I think because he only had 79 receptions last year, but only played in 11 games.
Right.
And he's just, I think he should be on pace for that 100 to 110, and that's actually why I took CC out of my top 5. He'd probably be my number 6, just because I think with the adding of Pickens, I'm not sure he's going to get quite the receptions that he would usually get. And I'll be honest, I just don't trust Dak Prescott staying healthy all year.
You have many things that are understandable.
Yeah, and I also don't trust their head coach, so we'll just leave it at that right now. So, so that's why I don't have him in there, and I have him at number 3. So I think our 2 and 1 might be the same, but let's just make sure. Who's your number 2?
Well, my number 2 is Justin Jefferson of the Vikings. I mean, dude, if Sam Howell becomes the quarterback in there, Sam Howell's going to have like 40 touchdowns.
Right.
I mean, he'll probably have 38 interceptions, but have 40 touchdowns, and most of them will be the Jefferson. But yeah, he has a nice little supporting cast around him that can take away the defenses from him. So that's nice. And I mean, Jefferson's awesome.
Yep. You and I are in agreement. I have Jefferson at my 2. My only concern for him is, we'll have to see how this whole quarterback thing plays out. If somehow they try to force feed McCarthy into the starting role, or for whatever reason
he's the starter.
I know.
But he's the starter. But he let's see if he can do something other than hand the ball off.
Right. That's
Ohio State fans would have loved that.
Yes, that's my only fear for Jefferson is, does that affect his numbers from the years past? But I don't think it will. But
I don't think it will. It could though.
Yeah, I agree. And I think you and I are in agreement on that. It could, but I don't think it will. So that's why he's 2. But I almost put Puka at 2, to be honest with you, but I didn't. I stuck with 2. So I think our number 1 is probably the same, but let's just make sure of that too. Who's your number 1?
Cincinnati Bengals, Jamar Chase. He was number 1 last year. He had the 2nd most PPR points of all players.
Yeah. He made Jared very happy because he's on Jared's team, so he enjoyed that. Yeah, 127 receptions. He's a big play threat anytime he touches the ball. I think a lot of leagues he seems to be going number 1 overall, which is crazy because it used to always be a running back that would go 1 overall. But a lot of these mock drafts, he seems to be if not 1, he's 2 or 3. And I can't argue that. I think it's going to be hard to duplicate what he did last year, but he's still going to have a really damn good year. So if he's available in your draft and you're picking in that first round, I don't think and he seems to be very durable too. He doesn't really get hurt at all. So there's our top five. So let's do sleepers next. Do you have who's a sleeper that you have?
Well, one of them, I mean, these are guys outside of like the top 10, top 15,
Right.
but not going too crazy, not going like way back. But my first one, T. Higgins, he got his contract situation straightened out. He's a sleeper also because people think, oh, he does get injured every year.
Right.
Or at least they say he's injured every year. It's like, oh, he's got a hamstring thing or something going on. But I think he's going to have a really good season this year. And I would say you might want to draft him higher than lower.
Okay. Go ahead. Give me your other sleepers altogether.
Jackson Smith and Jigba. He's even with a new quarterback in town, that's gonna be nice. And he's the man. I mean, he had the minimal amount of receptions he had for all those touchdowns was crazy.
Right.
And so he has a chance to be that number one player, and I think he will.
Okay.
And then Marvin Harrison Jr., this will be his season. He's breaking up this year. He's going to show everyone he's ready. And
I hope you're right because he's my keeper. So
I know, yeah, play me up for that. And I think Murray. The two of them are just going to connect.
Okay. I like all those. I try to go deeper. I went with, so I've got one rookie from the LA Chargers, Trey Harris, who's been lighting it up for the camp for the Chargers. In most mock drafts, he's going around 12 or later. So he could be one of those rookie guys, where all the other ones are going to get the publicity, but you're looking for a guy, especially maybe somebody you need a bye week, fixer upper or something like that. That's the guy to keep an eye on. My other one is a guy from Detroit, Jameis Williams, who last year finally had a whole year where he wasn't suspended. Seemed like he actually,
well, he had the knee injury and then he had the suspension.
Right. Yeah. So, last year he had a really good year, and the focus is always going to be on on St. Brown and their tight end Laporta as well. I know I combined both names there, so I was gonna do both of them at the same time. But so I think he's in position to have a really good year with Detroit. And my third one is going to be Jaywan Jennings out of San Francisco with Ayuk, and kind of still mending, but maybe coming back. Samuel's gone. A lot of drafts he's going in the 9th round. Last year he had his career high in targets, receptions, and yards. So I think he's another one of those guys you get in the late rounds. You're looking for somebody to add on again to maybe give you some depth. Those are three guys I think that can help. So let's go to now 3 guys or a couple guys, 2 or 3 guys that you just will not draft for whatever reason, or that you're going to try to stay away from.
Okay, so again, this is more staying away from where there's more questions than anything for me with these guys, but they're really good. You have Malik Neighbors up there, and I agree. He's a really phenomenal player. And you think that he's got the quarterback. Well, I mean, I don't know how good Russell Wilson is, first of all, anymore. I mean, he was okay last year. And then, who's the other backup? The guy who was from Tampa.
Oh boy, I can't. Well, isn't Fields is there too, right? Isn't he Fields up there? No, Fields is which one? Justin.
He's with the Jets.
Jets, that's right. Be
that as may. Jameson.
That's it.
Yeah. So I think he would actually do better with him because he could toss that ball. Yeah. Malik Neighbors is so fast, and I don't know what Russell's got anymore. We'll see. I don't think the Giants are that good as what they're being brought. That's going to be that team that they're going to be the surprise team, yeah, and then they're going to surprise all right with 4 wins.
Right. Okay.
Then I have this may hurt Paul's feelings, and it's not so much against Brian Thomas Jr. As it is that picking Travis Hunter, and then I mean their quarterback's always a question mark too. He's good, but is he going to get injured? I mean, I don't know, and I still think the jury's out on him. Also, Trevor Lawrence. So I think that hurts Brian Thomas.
Yep.
And then lastly, he's a good player down in Houston, Nico Collins. Can he do it again this year? I don't know.
That's a good question. I like all those, but my three I won't take are, and they're kind of personal bias. One is Chris Olave. I've had him the last 2 years.
Oh yeah,
That
yeah, I get
that
that.
A, I don't know who he's going to throw the ball, who's going to throw the ball to him, and then B, he is just he's a concussion machine.
Yeah.
So I will not draft Chris Olave. Rasheed Rice for Kansas City. It's
Hmm.
just it's not anything against him. It's like Mahomes is really the only player that seems to be draftable because they from week to week, you don't know who's going to get the ball with the way they do things there. So other than Mahomes, I just don't trust anybody in Kansas City. And my third one is Devontae Adams. He's just not the
Hmm.
Devontae Adams of old. Who knows how things are going to go for him in the Rams, and if he gets unhappy quickly, I think things can skyrocket quickly there for him.
Yeah, I'm probably not going to draft those three guys too.
Yeah. All right. So real quick on the tight ends, because I do have to get flying here. Why don't you give me go ahead and go 5 through 1, just a rapid fire order for your top 5, because I don't think I think the problem with tight ends, you got 3 or 4 really good ones, and then it's like 4 through 18, not that much difference between them. So
Kind of like quarterbacks.
yeah, exactly. What do you
5,
got?
Sam Laporta, Lions. 4, Evan Engram, Denver. 3, George Kittle, 49ers. 2, Trey McBride, who really rarely scores touchdowns. And number 1, obviously, Brock Bowers, who's the best in the league.
Our 1 through 3 is the same. I've got Kittle at 3.
Yeah.
I'm going to assume that he's going to be healthy. My 2 is McBride. He had a standout season last year
Yeah.
with the focus of Marvin Harrison, who you mentioned earlier. I think that helped Trey McBride, and Bowers is just a beast. He was. I picked him up in a trade with Norm, which I was kind of shocked I got him, and I'm so happy I got him on my team because he's not going anywhere. A, because he's a Raider, and B, just that kid caught everything coming his way. And same thing for him. He didn't have a quarterback throwing the ball either last year, and not that Geno Smith is much better, but he's better than what he had throwing the ball last year. So
He's better than last year. He's
yep.
going to be okay. Yeah.
I've got Laporta at 4, and 5 is just probably more of a respect for the man than anything. I put Kelsey still at 5. He can still catch the ball. I don't, maybe Father Time is catching up with him, but he still can catch the ball for sure. So, Sarah, any thoughts? I know you like Bowers, so you want to add in anything for him or any of the other ones?
No, I mean, he's been playing good. He's gotten a bunch of rookie records out of the way. It's just crazy how good he's been playing. Hopefully he keeps that up this season, especially with having a better quarterback for him.
Excellent. All right. Let's see here. Three. Give me a couple names of guys to watch for later rounds in the draft, or maybe the sleepers, as we like to call them.
David Njoku, Tucker Kraft, Tyler Warren, the rookie from Indy.
Okay. I have Tyler Warren in my sleepers column, so we're in agreement there. He's one of the rookies. I put Colston Loveland as a sleeper because in most drafts he's not going till 10 or later, and in Chicago he's going to get the chances. My deep sleeper is Elijah Rojo in Seattle. Noah Fant is gone. He's another one of these rookies. He's going to get the chance to be their opening day starting at tight end. In a lot of drafts, he's either going undrafted or 16 or later.
He's Miami.
Yeah. So he could be a guy to watch for late rounds for fun from the U. Yes. So those are my guys.
I drafted him in my dynasty league in the 3rd round.
Oh, really?
I think it was a great pick.
Yeah, could be. He's one of those guys I think that just has a lot of potential for hanging around for a while. Who are some tight ends you won't take, Scott?
Well, let's say Dalton Kincaid. Still, the jury's out on him. Mark Andrews is, I think it's a deep, unfortunate dive for him. And Travis Kelce. Again, like you said, it's all Patrick Mahomes out there. I mean, he'll try his best to get it to Kelce. It'll probably work a bit, but I don't know what's left there. He had a good season.
So we have two the same on the hate list. Mark Andrews, because I had him last year on my team, was very excited about him, and he had such an horrible start. And then, of course, the second that I finally cut him because he wasn't catching the ball and he wasn't getting any touchdowns.
Right.
Then he started to kind of look like the Mark Andrews of old. Kincaid, the same reason. I just don't trust Buffalo tight ends. It just doesn't seem like they're in their system much. My second one I won't take is a guy that you actually had in your top 5, which was David Njoku. Nothing against the player.
Mm-hmm.
That again comes down to I don't know who the hell's going to throw him the football. I don't think Cleveland knows who's going to throw him the football. Their first 6 weeks are a brutal schedule, and so that's why I wouldn't touch David, just because I don't know who's going to throw him the football right now.
See, I got the reason that I have him there is because I don't know who's going to throw him the football. So whoever's going to throw the football is probably just be like, tight end,
Yeah,
tight end,
could be.
and I can see him just getting all these receptions because he's the only guy open.
I agree. Any thoughts on any of the players we named, Sarah? Anyone that sticks out to you or anything that you want to throw in there?
I don't know.
No. Okay. That works for me because we're cutting on time. So the NCAA top 25 did come out. I was going to touch it, the preseason top 25. We've got time. One is Texas, two is Ohio State. We're going to dive into that top 25 maybe next week. We'll have a little bit more time, but it did come out today. It's fun because we are getting closer to college football starting up to that. Of course, the big weekend is the weekend before Labor Day, the big matchup, Texas and Ohio State. So as that gets closer and closer, we'll get into that a little bit more as well. We will go ahead too and get into the fantasy focus again next week. We'll focus in on some quarterbacks and some running backs to pick maybe who to watch, who not to watch, and we'll hit all that in the next episode. Then of course I do real quickly want to hit on our other shows on the network. Of course, later tonight will be Coach Devon and the Pretenders and Kenders. He takes a nice little dive into the youth sports in the DC area. The Tuesday Night Flight will have the guys. I'm sure they'll have plenty to talk about with the weekend that's gone on. I'm sure they will definitely jump into the NCAA top 25 rankings and start hitting that. Passenger Seat with Gentleman Jackson on Wednesdays, where he does an interview. The Thursday Night Throwdown, of course, is a great show if you're into the pro wrestling. WrestleManiacs on Saturday night is your place to be, and then the Sunday Morning Rise gets your week started if you're looking at that as a Sunday. So, Sarah, any thoughts before we wrap this bad boy up?
No thoughts, head empty.
No thoughts, head empty. Well, that's better than I guess other things. So we'll take that. Scooter, anything for you on your end?
Yeah, I just want to quickly memorialize a general 103-year-old Ray Fermani. He was a second lieutenant, flew 25 missions on B-17s. And when you get to 25, you go home because no one really lasts that long.
Wow.
If you've ever seen movies like Memphis Belle or Masters of the Air, which actually we have a good friend, some of us, named Matt Grogg, whose grandfather was a communications officer on the main B-17 on that TV show. But he passed away last week, 103 years old. He was a legend in Delaware, and we won't forget him. I met him several times.
Oh, yeah, I love seeing, anytime you see one of these World War II vets that still make it out to something, it's always impressive.
Okay,
it's
I have
crazy.
really weird news.
Oh, okay. Weird news.
Matthew Tkachuk and Wayne Gretzky will be on President Donald Trump's Council on Sports, Fitness, and Nutrition.
Hey, there you go. It's back,
Okay.
baby.
I'm not gonna jump into that right this second, but I'll just say okay. I'll say okay.
Hey, you got a Canadian American. That's cool.
I know.
Working together.
I know what she's trying to get out of me, but it's 6:07.
You can't do that to your dad.
I know. Throw one out
You
there
know what
like
you can
that.
get out of
in the
me,
show.
though? I hate Matthew Tkachuk.
All right,
There,
hold on.
put her
hold
down.
on.
She gets another one.
I know. Hold on. All right, I can edit this real quick.
Is she leading
before we
me?
leave the show. Yeah, that gives her two now. There it is. There it is,
Okay.
officially there. There you go. Yeah, that's how we'll end the show. Well, all right, I'm not going to update. Now. That's not technically. You didn't say it. You just did a pin on it. So that's
Okay, she wins.
There we go. She wins for the day. All right, guys. Pleasure as always with everyone. Make sure you tell your loved ones that you love them. Make sure you give them a hug because tomorrow's not guaranteed. But if you are here, hopefully you'll join us again next week on Drive Time with Matty Ice. So for the rest of the gang, we will say adios, adieu, goodbye, all that good stuff.